Welcome back to the Young Rugby Big Week, and for this episode I'm delighted to be joined via the power of Zoom by Jacob Flynn, scum half and Wales 7-star. Hello Jacob, how are you?
Very good, thank you, Paul. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. How's lockdown been? I know you're in Australia, obviously a bit different to the UK.
Yeah,
How's it been?
it's absolutely fantastic in Australia, to be honest.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed, Paul. We can go down the beach. We can do what we want, really. But nah, the pubs and stuff have been closed, so it's been a little bit more restricted to what I would have liked. But no, it's good. It's not too bad. I've been speaking to my parents and stuff back home, and I think it's a lot more stricter back home. But we've got the privilege of the beaches and stuff being closed to they class like surfing and stuff as exercise, so you're allowed to go down and get in the water and things. So it's a bit more social, a bit more outgoing. But yeah, I think everybody's pulling through pretty well, thank God. It's tough times, man.
Yeah, and what's the deal with regards going back to training? How much have you heard from clubs, etc., about when you're getting back to some top flight rugby?
We've actually just started here now, Tuesday this week. So Aussie teams, Shoot Shield, I'm playing in them at the moment, which is equivalent of like Welsh Prem and yeah, I guess that's English Champ, I think. Yeah. So we've just started training back here this week. But obviously we've been like divided in groups of 10 so we can maintain the social distancing rules and stuff. So, but yeah, I'm assuming the UK teams are way off at the minute, so it shows you a bit of a difference where we're at the moment.
So let's get started, and kind of I just want to pretty much go through, if you could highlight to maybe people who don't know, kind of about your rugby journey. Where did it all start for rugby with you, and up to now, and you found yourself in Australia?
Yeah. So the club I played for at a young age, and right the way up to, I think I was about 18 actually, was the Aberafan Harlequins back in Port Talbot in Wales. Yeah, literally started with them when I was about, I'd say about 6 to 8 years old. You know, the minis rugby when you're loving life, got no clue what's going on. Played until I was about under 16s, and then we went into youth rugby then, which was, I'd probably say, up there with the best times of my life. 3 years of youth rugby, playing with the best mates, captain right the way through. We won the Welsh Cup, won the National Leagues Cup. We won everything we could win, and that's when I got picked up then for Aberafan RFC, the Welsh Prem team. Started training when I was about 17, 18. Had a couple of, I'd say about 1 or 2 years of just hard graft training, trying to get your foot in the door, earning your place. And then I'd say 19 till about 21, 22, that's when I came into my own then, started playing my game. I've worked hard on fitness and stuff. This is one thing I've always been in love with. Done a lot of running, and it paid off because that was the type of game I played: fast ball, quick ball, scrum half. And then that paid dividends then, just going to fitness by getting picked up by one of the Sevens coaches who invited me to train because he felt as if I had a good fitness, good quickness to the game, felt as if I would be well suited to the Sevens style. Started my training with them then. I think it was about 21 when I started. I was with them for about 2 or 3 years, but I only played the European competitions first of all for the first year. Played in your Russia, played in the Moscow tournament, Poland, France, played in them. Seemed to do pretty well. I think I was feeling my best at that time, so I played my best. And then next thing they asked me to, that was when I got selected for my first World Series tournament then, which was Las Vegas. Played in that one, absolutely loved it. Best experience I've ever had in my life. That was back-to-back with Vancouver, went straight there. And then I carried on training right the way through, but then obviously we had a bit of a lull then where we didn't have any tournaments, so they allowed me to go back and play for Aberafan in the season. And then I got selected for the Hong Kong leg which was back to back with the Singapore leg then. So yeah, four World Series tournaments in total, and 2 or 3 years of European ones under my belt. So yeah, absolutely loved every minute of it.
And talking about that LA series, your debut in that Wales
Yeah.
Sevens shirt on the World Series stage, what was going through your head when you were walking out onto that pitch for the first time in LA?
It's pretty hard to explain, to be honest, mate, because you don't like, you kind of ignore all of that sort of stuff and you just focus on your job, if you know what I mean. Because
Yeah.
like I've been training for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years in the Sevens team. I'm standing until I'm just thinking, right, what have I got to do to actually make the coaches think, fuck, he's played well with you. So you're not focusing on like the sort of excitement thing. You're sort of concentrating on what your role is and what you've got to do to, stand out in that leg as such, or even how can I do that well in this leg that I'll get picked for other legs, and get my foot in the door to be a number 1 contender for that continuous spot going on. So yeah, obviously when you're there, you're just buzzing. Finally done something that you've set out to do from a young age. But funnily enough, my brother and all of my best mates flew out in a week, and they all met me over in Vegas. So that's one moment I'll never forget, running out the stadium and seeing all them in stand. So yeah, no, as you lot can imagine, is one of the best buzzes I've had, and it just gets you hungry for more to come. You play that first leg, you get a bit of a taste of the pro environment and stuff, and then you think, shit, I want to do that again. So yeah, it was in.
So for people who may not be aware, how much of a difference is there between sevens and 15s? In that a lot of people might think that it's just 8 people less on a pitch, but
yeah,
how much of a different game is it now, especially at the top level?
yeah, it's something you can't explain until you've done it. I'll be honest. It's one of them things. You think you're fit, you think you're quick, and you think you're going to step, and then you step on that pitch and you think, actually, I'm not as good as I thought. Nah, it's one of them. You're playing against the best athletes in the world in the sevens tournament. Even the forwards, your pace, and you think. You're playing 15s and the forwards are the slow ones, but in sevens, everybody's the same pace or quicker, you know what I mean? And just, especially, I was obviously a sweeper on one of those positions, and running touchline to touchline and then coming into the line, and then we've turned the ball over playing. The fitness is absolutely, like, out of this world, like, you wouldn't believe. And, like, even when you think, I can't give any more, next thing, the ball's in your hands and you've literally got to run. The type of players you're playing against are some of the best athletes in the world, man. And you get privileged to play with boys like that on your own team as well. So it was an experience where I loved the difference in 15s, because I play in like Welsh Prem for, I don't know, 5-6 years, and you kind of not get bored, but it was nice to have that bit of change. And I've always thought of myself as quite a quick and fit player, so it was nice to kind of express myself in that environment where I was only 7 on each team and have a bit of an important role in that. So it was a bit of an honour to play against some of the players we played against, and probably the best experience of my life, man. Unreal.
I bet. Cast your mind back to the young teenage Jacob Flynn who's playing for a town club. Did you ever imagine that sevens would play such a big part in your rugby career? Were you focused more on 15s at that age, or and thinking that it'd be 15s from then on? When did sevens become a reality? When
that's a good question, actually, pal, because I played. In youth rugby, we had a couple of district tournaments, like sevens, just like younger tournaments, and which, like, when we played, I absolutely loved, and I thought, this is where I was really good at that, and I hope I get to do it soon. But there's not enough opportunities at a young age for the seven. They don't come around as frequent as you'd want them to. So you had a couple of like district tournaments when you're younger, but nothing after that. And then, yeah, like you said, you just concentrating on regional rugby, getting that. Well, obviously mine was Ospreys at the time. I played 16s, 17s, 18s. But then, like I said, interesting question. I played up until 18s, and there was, I'd say, about 3 or 4 9s. And it just wasn't getting. We were all getting game time, but not enough as I'd wanted. So I was getting a bit pretty bored. And then Aberafon were, they were like starting me, and I was getting regular rugby, and then they offered me a contract. So I actually quit the Ospreys at under 18s level and just signed for Aberafon full time. And every single game I put on the Aberafon jersey was absolutely unreal. Loved it. Crowd amazing, players amazing. And I enjoyed being in that full-time environment, playing week in, week out, instead of being in the academy environment where, oh, you may get this chance or you may get that chance. I was kind of just, getting a bit disheartened, and I just enjoyed playing, man, to be honest. I was young, I was fit, I was ready to play. And then, I had a couple, 2 or 3 seasons in Aberafon under my belt, really, really played well. And then luckily, my coach was quite good mates with the Sevens coach, and he said, I think you'd be a pretty good fit for this outfit. And then the Sevens coach said, yeah, bring him in. I had a couple of trial matches. I done really well and got picked for the European tournament, and then done well in them, and then got picked for the World Series. So I went from there then,
So, looking back at your time at Ospreys in that academy, there obviously will be a few players listening or watching now who might be in the same position as you, where they're not maybe getting the game time that they would hope for in an academy. What advice would you give to those players who are maybe handed an opportunity like you to go somewhere elsewhere or experience something different, which may bring them more permanent rugby, but might not be their ideal first choice of Ospreys?
It's quite a tough one, man, right? Because I'm a pretty straightforward guy, I tell as it is, but it's a tough one because if your foot's in the door, then you've got to keep working hard, and you've got to keep, trying to get to that starting position, whether it be for Ospreys, Wales. Your goals are never too high. So if they're in the setup and they think, I can get there, then by all means, keep training hard, keep tracking on, and keep getting there. But the big thing for me is people underestimate how much of an influence Welsh Prem actually has on regional rugby. So a lot of people think, you've got to be involved in a college setup, and then you've got to work your way up to Osprey Academy, and then get involved in the first team, sign your development or first team contract. Whereas I had a lot of influential people in my career, so they were telling me, if you get regular rugby playing Welsh Prem, and there's people watching Welsh Prem, and you play well, and you'll get picked up. And that's exactly what I done. So there's a fine line between realising how far your foot's in the door in the academy and thinking you can push on, whether how many games you've had or not. But the big thing with me was, listening to the people who recognise the fact of how important Welsh Prem is. And I've got, as you can imagine, loads of mates in Welsh Prem who've gained, big honours from just that league alone, just playing regular rugby. Whether it be an S4C game or somebody sitting in the stand watching, or coaches knowing coaches. And then, mate, you get regular rugby, you pick up, your energy absorbs, you're scoring a few tries, you get on. That's the way I done it. But like I said, there's the 2 ways of you can do it. But, Welsh Prem is underrated for me. And at the end of the day, it depends how old you are. If you're young and you just want to play, get signed for a Welsh Prem club and just play, man. That's where I was at. I come straight out of youth, 3 years of just playing rugby with my best mates. I didn't want to go and just stand around watching another 9 pass, and I want to get straight back into it. So, that's what I done. And that's when Sevens come in, and I guess that's how I got my success from it.
Sounds good. Well, just on a final point, if you've got any advice for some young rugby players who are potentially given that opportunity of Sevens, who may be a bit intimidated by that fact, or so just any advice for young rugby players who might be looking at getting into the Sevens scene in particular.
The biggest thing about Sevens is just expressing yourself, enjoying it, because when you play 15s, you don't get that amount of space on a field. So when you get involved in that's what I thought. Every time I was playing sevens, I was like, flipping hell, I've got a lot of room here.
Yeah.
I can step, I'm fast, I'm fit. Just go out there, man, and just do what you do best. And that's why you're there, to just go out there and just run with the ball, defend, but then also realize, like, if you have got a Welsh badge in your chest, then you've got it for a reason. So play with everything you got. But yeah, the biggest thing for me was you don't get that room and stuff often to express yourself. So don't come off the field thinking, shit, I should have done this, I should have done that. Just do it, because sevens is a game to just enjoy it. And that's what I found. Whenever I was smiling, whenever I thought to myself, I'm going to do this and back myself, that's when I had my best games. Whereas other ones, I was, I'll just do the basics right. And I'll worry about other people looking good and stuff. That's when you think, I had a decent game, but I didn't really do what I wanted to do in that game. So yeah, just back yourself and enjoy yourself. That's what rugby's about. That's why we play sports, man. Just get out there and enjoy it.
Well, it's been amazing to talk to you, Jacob. Some really great insight into the sevens
You too,
world
pal.
and your career. Hope to catch up with you soon, and
You
after
too.
this whole global pandemic. And thank you very much for joining me.
Awesome. You too, pal. Thanks for having me.
No
Top man.
problem.